To the point, informative, entertaining, and protecting the Second Amendment. Welcome back to Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. And let me just double check and make sure that I am live here. Make sure the sound is running. And if you guys are out there, just let me know. Let me know how the sound is. I'm just curious how the video and sound is rolling. And let me just double check this out here. And it looks like we are good. And apparently, lately, I'm in a pistol freedom seed pumping kind of mood. So, we just got done wrapping up 9mm live, and I said, what the heck? I'm gonna do some 45 ACP. And I see my good friend Michael D is in the house, and man, you want to talk about a knowledgeable guy? Man, that guy knows his stuff. And I really, really enjoy just gaining knowledge from other people. And that's everything I'm showing you, everything I'm teaching you guys is just what I've learned and obtained from other people in my own novel. And I'm spreading that on to you guys. And hopefully you guys are spreading that on to the next generation, because this really is what this is really all about, is learning from each other and developing your own method to your madness. I've met so many people that think their way is the right way, and I'll never say mine is. And if you're egotistical enough to feel like your way is the only way and the only right way to do it, I tell you, till the day they put me 6 feet in the ground, I'm still going to be learning new methods and gaining new knowledge, especially while I upgrade my equipment. And that is so, so true. And but with that being said, I figured, you know what? I'm on a roll here with 9mm. Let's do some 45 ACP. And I actually have a Ruger SR 1911. I absolutely love that pistol. It is a phenomenal stainless steel, good old 45 ACP 1911, and that's what I reload for. And it looks like we got good old GF. He's in the Elfster's reloading room. My good friend Michael D. We got Steve Headley here. He's saying hi from Iowa. I got Vladia Chenkoleko. I might have merged your last name there a little bit. He's saying hi from Los Angeles. Lead Mining 44 is in the house. Jason Hunt is rolling in. Thomas Tech is already here. And he's saying my way is the way I do it. And that's exactly right. It's all about getting your own method, your madness. But with that being said, I know during this last live event, I realized that my auto trickler wasn't working on my FX120i. If you guys happen to watch that live event, I figured out what the heck was wrong with it. And let me clip you guys out of here, and I'll get you a little bit close and personal. But I realized that this part was halfway sticking out, and that was the problem. It was literally, I just had to push it all the way in. I must have bumped it or something, and just that sticking out that little bit caused this to malfunction. But now that I got it pushed back in, I can hit cycle auto throw, and she's working like a dream. So if you happen to get an FX120i, you happen to watch this last series, you realize this is kind of shuddering and isn't working properly. What I noticed is this was just barely sticking out, and like I said, I must have bumped this. So I just pushed it back in. And I've also read some interesting news, is if your wires get damaged, that can also occur too if you get the FX120i. So just giving you guys an update on that and how I got it fixed. But let's see what else is rolling in here before I start spewing my BS. But Rich is rolling in saying hi, Todd. My good friend Jeff Allen saying howdy, Todd. Nice to have you guys along. So I figured I'd do a quick little video live update here of before I do the main reloading for this 45 ACP. And the bane, if you're new to the game, especially when it comes to 45 ACP, is small pistol primers. Usually, more times than not, when you're doing 45 ACP, it's going to have a large pistol primer. But I found, and I actually tested this out. Actually, matter of fact, I'm going to show you a picture here. I actually took a picture, and I pulled one piece at a time and loaded this into an ammo tray. And can you guys spot out the small pistol primers? There's 50 here. So 5 times 10 is 50. And if you could spot out the small pistol primers, that's the bane when it comes to 45 ACP, is it can completely shut down your progressive reloading. And if you're new to the game, it's something you definitely got to keep an eye out for if you're considering about reloading for 45 ACP. And if you can spot them out here, matter of fact, I'm going to go with the next picture. The two I took out were the small pistol primers. So let me go back to that so you can see this one here. So that one there and this one here are the small pistol primers. If you don't spot those out before you start your 45 ACP reloading press session, it's going to shut down your progressive press in 2 seconds flat. And a lot of times when guys are using something like a Dillon 1050, it's automated with an Autobot. They usually have some type of method or machine that recognizes that with a laser or some sort that automatically kicks those out if you're, a big deal. But if you're not, and you need to keep an eye out for those. And I've said this before, at least in my reloading series of reloading pistol ammo 101, and this is for 9mm, but really it pertains to all pistol ammunition, regardless if it's 9mm or other things like 40 Smith & Wesson or 45 ACP, doesn't really matter. Usually I don't pop out those primers. I as long as I clean them and the primer pockets are bone dry, I leave those primers in and I pop them right when they're being sized. I don't pop them out beforehand, and I just leave the primer pockets dirty. But with that being said, at least for me, and everyone's got their own method, their madness, like I just explained earlier, is I personally, when it comes to 45 ACP, I take a little bit of extra time and I actually deprime all those with the FW Arms decapper. I know you don't have to do it. You can sort them out and just shuffle them out later, but you know what? I got time, and it doesn't really bother that much to sort them out. So what I found is I pulled out 100 and 100. I've already decapped these. And what I found is every tray I loaded up, it had at least 1 to 2 small pistol primers for 50 pieces. Every tray I loaded up 4 of them. Obviously, I got 200. And I found at least 1, if not 2, small pistol primers for every 50. So if that gives you an idea, if you don't find those and call them out before your 45 ACP reloading adventure, it's going to shut down your progressive press. And trust me, it's not fun, especially if you're new to the game. So something you definitely need to keep an eye out for. So I figured before I do the main reloading, I've already done these 100. I've already popped them out, but I figured I'd have you guys join me in regards to popping out the rest of the 100 with my FW Arms decapper. So auto centering decapper, man, this thing is phenomenal. It'll work all the way down from 9mm all the way up to, I believe, 338 Lapua. And I don't have to change a darn thing on it. Phenomenal decapper. In my opinion, it's the best decapper. But yeah, definitely you need to keep an eye out for that. And that series is coming. And it's going to be live to boot. And I'm really excited to have you guys join me on this adventure. And also, I just ordered the 4-die Lee, the deluxe Lee 4-die set for 45 ACP. Just ordered it today. Matter of fact, I just posted a link on my Facebook page, shipped from Amazon for, I believe it was $39.02 shipped from Amazon. I don't know if there's any left. There was not that many left, but at least for a 4-die set, 45 ACP. Like I said before, my 9mm reloading adventure live prior to this one, not a huge fan of seating dies that seat and crimp in one method. They're just annoying and they're a pain in the butt to get set up. So in my opinion, I personally would get your seating die and your taper crimp die in 2 separate stages. It just makes it easier, not only to get those dies set up. But in my opinion, it just creates a more consistent seating and also a more consistent taper crimp. I just think that's really, really important. So let's see who else is rolling into the reloading room here. I got Hemi for me. I believe that's how you pronounce. He's saying hi from PA. Don't blame me. Oh my gosh, you're from. Oh my gosh, I might just have to ban you right now. Just kidding. Case G Reloading is in the house saying putting son to bed. Be right back, buds. Why don't you go grab us all a drink while you're at it? My good friend Jerry Bear Tactical, man, you guys got to check his channel out. Make sure you search that, go over there and subscribe. Talk about a good guy and super knowledgeable. And he's saying, yo, brother, just dropping in, saying hello. I'm off to bed. Enjoy your evening. Lee Scott saying, great to see you, Todd. God bless you and the family. And Michael D saying, and I think he agrees with me, small pistol primers for 45 is the devil. Mama said so. So, all right, guys, you got to be kind. You got to be kind to, those guys that live in PA there. So, Todd is also rolling in the Elfster's reloading room and said, glad I prime and hand prime. Good to know you keep an eye out when you start doing 45 ACP. And, and when it comes to pistol reloading, straight wall cartridges, like I said, more times than not, I'm just going to leave those primer pockets in and pop them out right as my first stage of resizing. And in my opinion, it does not hurt whatsoever to keep those primer pockets dirty. But when it comes to 45 ACP, if I'm going to be calling out those small pistol primers, I'm going to just decap it. It's just one less thing I have to worry about. Matter of fact, I'm going to do that here soon, and we're going to get that in the wash and show you at least what I do to wash my brass, at least using the Frankfurt Arsenal wet tumbler. So Art Hendry is also rolling into the Elfster's reload room saying, hit that like button, and I agree with you. Why don't you smash that thumbs up, my friend? It definitely helps with my analytics. And also, if you're absolutely new to my channel, make sure you hit notification. And when you do hit notification bell, make sure you hit notification all. And also check out my other B-side backup channel, Elfster's Men in Americans, and that's in the description box below. Make sure you also subscribe and hit that notification all over there. Because once I hit 1,000 subscribers over there, we are going to do not only some serious live reloading and pumping out some freedom, but I also want to do some podcasts and get some other very knowledgeable people on there so we can all learn together. Joshua Hutchinson is rolling and saying, watching from Cincinnati, Ohio, Trump should have been president. I don't get political on my channel. I said that before, and let's just say we very much agree. So, Rich is saying his sound is crackling. So, maybe I might check this out here. Let me make sure this is. Double check my sound here. Maybe let's see if that helps. Let me know if that helps there at all, Rich. Bad Billy is rolling in 429 saying, what up, Elfsters? Ray Fred seating and then crimp on a single stage press. And no, I don't. You probably don't see this, but I got my progressive Hornady lock and load press. I do all my pistol reloading on there. And he's saying it does sound better. Still cracking just a little bit. Maybe I got this a little bit too close. So I'll see if that helps out a little bit. But with that being said, so I do have these claimed, but man, I tell you, they've been in this bag, I know, a joke, for probably 5 years. So I figured, what the heck? I'm just going to call these out, pop out the primers, and we're going to get them washed, especially for those guys that have never seen that before. And it definitely doesn't hurt to pop out those primers beforehand, before you start your progressive reloading. It definitely makes the reloading process a heck of a lot more smooth. But with that being said, it's just an extra step that you have to take. So like I said before, you don't have to do it, but if you want, it definitely helps makes the process a heck of a lot smoother, especially when it comes to 45 ACP. So let me just get you guys up close and personal here, at least with that FW Arms decapper. And just get a quick decap. I'm going to show you how fast this is, our progressive setup, at least the FW Arms decapper. Kind of mentioned this before in the 9mm live series, the live series video right before this one. And I have a video on this. I believe it's called Elfster's 10 off. You go to FW Arms. I believe it's either 10% or $10 off with free shipping if you're interested in this decapper. But yeah, let me just show you how quick this is. I got my specific, if you got the Hornady LNL press and you're thinking about getting this, this does take a specific 45 shell plate lock and load AP shell plate. I've tried the 308. It does kind of work, the shell plate number 1. I mean, to be honest with you, it kind of binds up once in a while. So if you're considering getting the AP press, you're considering about reloading for 45 ACP, you definitely need to get this plate if you want it to run smoothly. Let me just show you how quick and fast this is. And it is just blazing fast. And that's why I really like to keep my progressive press around, not only for reloading pistol progressively, but just for decapping. Regardless if it's pistol or rifle, you can see I could just fly right through this. And I'm just going to town. So while I'm doing this, I'm going to try and read your comments and do this at the same time. But AR Guns 1776 saying, let's stock up with Biden's NFAR AR-15s. Heavy for you and me is 80%. Are you saying you're going to get 80% lowers? And Chris Smith is also running the house saying, what's up, guys? So, like I said, I already pre-sorted these, and these are all large primers. I guaranteed that. So that way it doesn't lock down the process. And we're going to fly through 100 of these. Let us know tomorrow. Now, just to show you some of the components that I'm going to be using during the live event. So all this is range picked 45 AC brass, and I am going to be reloading with 45 ACP, and that's the 230 grain round nose. And these are just really inexpensive berry plated, copper plated, they're not copper jacketed bullets. And there's 500 in that box. As a matter of fact, I got a whole nother 500 up there, so 1,000 bullets I got waiting to be reloaded. And got a hold of my good friend Michael D. Man, that guy, that's all he does is just gives her hell in the reloading room. And he recommended Bullseye, and that's what I'm going with for this. So 230 grain 45 ACPs along with some good old Bullseye powder. And I think this is going to make for some phenomenal 45 inexpensive reloads that I could shoot on my SR 1911. So let me know if that sound is still crackling there, my friends. And just give you an idea why I keep this progressive press around, especially with this FW Arms decapper. Because man, you could just cruise right through it. And if some of you guys haven't seen this before, the reason why I keep this decapper is because of its auto-centering nature. You can see it just barely catches, and this collet moves in and out, and it auto-centers this case into the body of the die and pops that primer out. Man, I tell you, it is slick as can be. So figured I would just quick do this, and you don't have to do this, but it definitely makes the reloading process 10 times more smooth in regards to 45 ACP, because that small pistol primer, 1 in a 50, I would say maybe 1 or 2 in every 50 will shut down your operation if you don't catch it in time. So 1911 Smoking Gun said I scored, let's see what he said there. I think he said I scored 10,000 small rifle primers last week. I must be the luckiest guy in the world. It sounds like it, man. I'm just curious, where did you get those 1911? because we want to follow in your footsteps. And I'm not even really looking at this. I'm actually looking at the screen here, reading your comments. See what else here. So I've been going into Shields, my local Shields lately here in northern Wisconsin, northwest Wisconsin, and they've been slowly leaking out small pistol primers, but they only had a limit of 2 per customer. So I've been slowly but surely been stocking up on that. But man, I tell you, if you're new to reloading, you're thinking about getting into it, especially for pistol, in my opinion, you should just get a progressive press. Not saying you can't do pistol on a single stage, but man, it just doesn't ever just make it easier. But like I said, you don't have to do this. You can leave the primers in. It doesn't affect accuracy whatsoever. Leave those pistol primers dirty. You can see we're almost down to the tail end here already. Just flying right on through this. Man, I love that sound. You guys hear that sound of those 45 ACP shells making that ringing? You know what that's called? That's called freedom right there. That's called the brass ring of freedom right there, my friends. I think we need that the worst way. And I'm dropping brass all over the place. And you're right. Hemi for fun. Freedom seeds are coming. All right, so just like that, we just rocked out 100 pieces of brass and decapped it just like that. Bam, just like that. So let me just double check some of your comments here, and we're going to get this into the stainless steel wash here, clean these up a little bit better. Make sure my camera is situated. So like I said, we're using bullseye, berry bullets, and I got a brick of 1,000 Winchester large pistol primers. So if you want, you can keep those small. Matter of fact, I just threw them away. I don't even keep them. Here's my bad brass bin. Like I said, once brass goes in here, I never pull them out, but you know, the ones that did have small primers, I just threw them right away. I suppose you could anally pick those out and seat small primers if you want, but you're mostly going to get a velocity difference on that. So I just do that. Never see them again. So let's check out some of your comments, and then we're going to throw this in the wash. Now I'm probably going to wrap this up, but I figured I'd just quick do this before we do the actual live event. And let me back up here, make sure I'm not missing anyone's comments. So Hemi's saying all of his guns drowned in a horrible boating accident. I think a lot of guys here with AR pistols and AK pistols and braces are probably going to have the same problem as you, I bet. So Richard is saying my local gun store will only sell 200 primers per person a day, and I'm in the same boat there with that Shields. They're only doing 200, but check out my Facebook page. If I see some primers go up, especially at a good deal, and I'm not going to post them unless they're a good deal, make sure you're checking out my Facebook page, Elfster's Rifles Reloading. If I find them, they're going on there. I'm getting my order in right away, and then you guys can have whatever's left. I'm just kidding. Ray Preston, Bullseye is a great 45 power, but it's filthy. So that's a good point. So Darren Becker is saying, what do you recommend for powder on a 223 AR? I like to use it for some precision national rifle, long range type shooting, team matches, and also some coyote hunting. I wanted to stick with one brand model. So Darren, one quick question is, what's the barrel length of your 223 or 5.56? If it has a barrel length of, let's say 16 inches or more, it's very hard to beat Varget. I've tried them all, CFE 223, you name it, I've tried them, Benchmark, blah, blah, blah. I kept on going back to Varget. Not only is Varget a really temperature stable powder. But it just performs. I've tried OCW testings over and over and over with different powders, at least as long as your barrel is 16 inches or longer, 16, 18, 20. Really, really hard to beat Varget. Now, with that being said, I do have some 5.56 10.5-inch AR pistols with a 1 and 7 twist, and they actually prefer XBR 8208. XBR 8208 is actually a faster burning powder in comparison to Varget, and you want to get that powder burnt up as fast as possible before that bullet exits the muzzle. And I notice, at least in my 10.5-inch AR pistol, my 5.56 AR pistol, it's 10.5 inches, 1 and 7 twists. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, if you're new to the game, 1 and 7 twists means that the bullet makes 1 full revolution in 7 inches of barrel. Well, if the barrel's 10.5 inches long, you divide that by 7. That means that bullet's going to make 1.5 full revolutions until it exits the muzzle. Usually, more times than not, with 223 or 5.56 or a wild chamber, regardless of what it is, usually with a 1 and 7 twist, those particular twist rates on a 223 are going to favor heavier bullets, especially if the barrel length is 16, 18, especially when they get longer. You start hitting like 20, 22, and 24. More times than not, they're going to prefer heavier 68 grain, 75 grain bullets. But in my 10.5-inch AR pistol, and I have the series to prove it, if you don't believe me, check out my playlist on the PSA 10.5-inch 5.56 AR pistol series. I did some extensive testing, and at least in that, the 10.5-inch 1 and 7 twist, the 55 grain VMAX is absolutely crushed. When I say crushed, absolutely crushed the heavier 68 and 75 grain bow tail hollow points. And I tell you, those VMAXs, they have a flat base on them. They're not a boat tail. And just because they don't have a boat tail and they're a flat base bullet doesn't mean they're not accurate. Matter of fact, a lot of bench rest rifle shooters that shoot at 600 yards or less actually sometimes prefer a flat base bullet. And I tell you, I usually will put 55 grain VMAXs in that 1 and 7 twist with Varget. I'm sorry, XBR 8208, 55 grain VMAX, my 10.5-inch, and it just performs. Insanely accurate. That series proves it. And then you can check out my other series, such as my Rock River Arms 20-inch varmint bull barrel. That's 20-inch barrel, the 1 and 8 twist. And I've tested them all, and the 60 grain VMAX destroys the 68 grain and 75 grain boat tail hollow points, even out to 600 yards. I've printed groups easily under sub MOA. Matter of fact, 3-inch, 2-inch groups at 600 yards with very little wind deflection, clean out to 600 yards. And usually I'm going to be rocking Varget in those, especially with how stable and is not affected by temperature. So hopefully that answers your question. So, what else we got here? But just keep in mind, Varget is pretty hard to meter. It's one of the hardest is probably like H4350. But I tell you, with this FX120i, it doesn't give one crap about what type of powder it is. If it's H4350, Varget, benchmark, it doesn't make a hill of beans difference. So hopefully that answers your question, my friend. So Hemi's asking, how loud is your Frankfurt tumbler? And you're about to see that here soon. It is pretty loud, but it's definitely not as loud as my Tumbler's tumbler. But it is loud, so keep that in mind. It definitely helps to have that away from your loading room, especially your family, so you're not driving completely insane. So Michael D is making a good point here. Recycle or sell the small primer 45. That's exactly what I do. So I don't know, Amanda the gamer, you're saying some stuff. You gotta stop saying stuff that I'm gonna have to take you off the chats here, man. You're saying some stuff that's getting blocked here automatically by YouTube, so keep that in mind. Stephen Sewell is dropping in the live the super chat here, man, I greatly appreciate that. Man, does that ever help my channel more than you know? He's saying a new sub, love the links below. Canadian money, sorry, but I really appreciate the $20 super chat. Man, does that ever help push this content moving forward? And hopefully we can just all learn together. I greatly appreciate that, man. That is awesome. So Conservative Sniper Center has mentioned a good point here, saying Varget is manufactured in Australia Industries, and Varget in H4350 is insanely hard to get. But thank God I got a couple 8-pound jugs of that. So stock up on the getting's good. Trust me, my friend. 1911 Smoking Gun saying, I too like power pistol, also use a lot of tight group. And, you know, I got the bullseye. I usually use Unique, which Unique is also a tremendously dirty pistol powder. But I tell you, it's very versatile. You can use it in anything, 9mm, 40 Smith & Wesson, 45 ACP. It just doesn't really care. I also have tight group, and I also have CFE pistol. And I'm just adding into the mix, which I've never used before, and this is a recommendation from Michael D. And if anyone knows, it's going to be that guy, trust me. And he says, this is the king for 45 ACP. If you got 45 ACP, especially these 230 grain pills, this is going to be the powder for you. It's kind of the king for 45 ACPs along those 230 grain round nose bolts. It's kind of the go-to for 45 ACP. So hopefully that answers some of your questions here. So let's see what else you got here, and then we're going to throw this into the Tumbler, and we're going to wrap this up. So if you got any questions, make yourself be known. Like, once again, thank you once again, Stefan. See you all there for your super chat. That is awesome. See what else we got here. So Scott Hall saying, what would you recommend to a newbie that's just looking for the cheapest rough to just reload 9mm range ammo? I have no idea what to buy or even get started. So if you're just getting into it, you're definitely gonna want a progressive press, in my opinion. About the cheapest and the most one I'd recommend, it would probably be the Hornady lock and load press. Usually you can get this for about 400 and about 490. Matter of fact, I got a deal from Brownell. It's a promo code, I believe, shipped. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's 490 for the progressive press. I believe that comes with a 500 bullet deal on that, which is actually a phenomenal deal. If you can afford it, I would highly suggest taking a look at the Dillon 750. It's one of those things is you got to just get that initial sting out of the way for your press. Those are probably the two I'd recommend. I'd probably lean more towards the 750 if you can. And these Lee pistol die sets, 4 die sets with the taper crimp and the cedar separately. Awesome. Huge fan. You can usually hunt them down for about $40 shipped. And that is probably the route I would go. But I've said this before, I'll say it again. Try and buy the best equipment that you can afford. Never buy a kit, in my opinion. Now, it's just my opinion. So hopefully that answers your question. But in regards to bullets, the cheapest bullets are probably going to be some type of copper plated. There's numerous brands out there. I just usually get berry bullets. Now, keep in mind, these are copper plated. They're not jacketed. So especially if you're doing a lot of plinking, you're not specifically shooting for crazy tight groups. You're just banging steel or practicing. It's hard to beat these berry bullets, but there's other ones like extreme bullets. They're copper plated, and obviously buy in bulk. Right now with my 9mm, especially with rain pitch pick brass, if you buy 1 pound of powder, so I buy 1 pound of powder, and 1 pound has 7,000 grains in it. And for example, my 9mm usually takes 5 grains of powder per powder drop. You can easily figure out how many you're going to get out of 1 pound. 1 pound is 7,000 grains. 7,000 divided by 5. That's going to tell you how many powder drops you can get. Take that amount of powder drops, divide it by the price, and that's how much you pay per powder drop. Usually pistol primers, you can a good deal, and I personally wouldn't pay over 4 cents a piece. you're usually going to pay about 4 cents at the worst, and I wouldn't pay over anything over 5. 4 cents a piece. I personally would wait until you can get that 4 cents per primer price. The brass you're getting for free, and the bullets, I think the 9mm I got locally, 1,000 bullets of 115 grain round nose. I believe with tax out the door is about $90. Well, that's 9 cents a piece. So I'm paying 9 cents per bullet. I'm give or take about 3 cents per powder drop, roughly 3 to 4 cents per primer, and the brass I'm getting for free. So roughly 14 cents. Right now, if you're not reloading, you're going to be paying easily 60 to 80 cents a round. So you can see how much you're saving there. And before this whole C19 mess, I simply wasn't reloading pistol whatsoever. And it wasn't until we got up to this January, February, right around March, I started to get back into reloading pistol. And prior to that, I didn't touch my progressive press in regards to reloading pistol for almost 2-3 years. And no joke. My Hornady powder drop assembly sat in my bin over here for about 2-3 years. The whole assembly was wrapped in a Ziploc bag, sprayed with WD-40, so it didn't rust out. But these times warrant that, and I'm getting back to, I don't want to spend factory ammunition at roughly 60 to 80 cents a round. I want to spend that roughly 12 to 13 cents. And especially if you have lead that you can melt down and cast your own bullets, you're going to save, and even you're going to knock an insane amount out of that. Especially if you have the lead, you're instantly going to knock off roughly 8 cents per pull of the trigger. So stock up while you can, and hopefully that answers your question. So let's see here. Let's see here. RNXs, I might just take you up on that. And you are instantly now a moderator for my channel. So you done deal there, my friend. I appreciate that. That is awesome. I highly appreciate that. East Junior saying the mic has some static in and out your auto. I trying to fix it. I'm sorry about that. Sometimes I get static and sometimes I don't. I don't know why that is, but I'm sorry if you guys got to put up with the static, and hopefully you can hear me okay. Let me try this once more. Let's see if that works. You just double check my audio here. Audios. Check 1, 2. So hopefully that fixes it. Otherwise, I'm not sure what's going on. Sorry, my friend. So Gates Jr. Reloading, thank you so much for that super chat. It is awesome. Like I said, that helps this channel so much in pushing this content forward. It's just that extra incentive. Because trust me, I'm not getting it from the good old YT. They don't monetize my stuff for nothing. But that definitely helps. Thank you so much. So what else we got here? So, 1911 saying I couldn't be happier with my Dillon 650, now 750. It loads everything accurately, and it's got some expendables, case feeds, bullet feeds, you name it. And I would probably recommend that. Just bite the bullet and go that route. Service Sniper Sergeant saying, Elfster, have you checked out Summit City Bullets? I definitely got to check that out. I haven't. I usually just buy local. I like to help support my local gun channel, gun stores like Shields. I love Shields. That place is amazing. If you have a Shields in town, definitely go check them out. And what I like about them is they don't price gouge. I mean, they will keep the same prices, and yeah, they might put limits on stuff, especially stuff like powder and primers, usually primers. But man, it is awesome. So Scott Hall saying audio check, thank you. So JH585 saying, hey, Elsters, I'm new to channel, great content. I appreciate that. And hopefully we are all learning. So yeah, let's get this into the Frankfurt Arsenal Tumbler, and I'm going to wrap this up. So especially if you guys got any questions or concerns, make sure you let yourself be known. But I personally use the Frankfurt Arsenal Tumbler, and what I like to do is, let me just get this rolling here. I'm going to go get my brass. So I got my brass here. Make sure you guys are all in the picture. All right, so let me grab this. And if you have a Frankfurt Arsenal tumbler, or you're thinking about buying one, I highly recommend making a funnel for it. Trust me, it just helps getting, especially if you're using stainless steel media, getting the pins in and out, or something like Southern Shine media, getting that brass in and out. I highly recommend getting the hottest water out of your tap. So I'm going to start running this to get the hottest water out of my tap here. So I'll let that run for a while until I start to see steam rise from that water. And the nice thing is I have that water heater right there. It doesn't take long for that hot water to show up. And by the way, these aren't hot water heaters, they're just water heaters. If the water is already hot, you wouldn't have to heat it up. I'm sorry, it just drives me nuts when people say hot water heaters. So let me get this water rolling here. And what I like to do is use Dawn and Dawn only. Don't use any other substitute. Trust me, I tried them. Nothing performs like Dawn. So I am going to put a nice heavy squirt. And when I say a squirt, it's not a lot. And this is how much. Just about like that. You don't have to go overboard, not too little. And then also, I like to use a teaspoon of Lemmy Shine, if I can find my spoon. So usually I just grab a plastic spoon like this. So now if you put too much of this in, your brass will turn pink. And if you put too little, it's not going to do anything. So if you can put in just something like that, you don't have to go overboard. I know some guys like to use a 45 ACP piece of brass filled up to the top. It's about the same. So I'll dump that in there and fill this up with my brass. Like I said, you definitely don't need to do this. You don't have to pop this out and clean the primer pockets. I'm just doing it because I know some guys do. It definitely makes it a more smooth process. But you can, when it comes to straight walled pistol, even straight walled anything, I usually don't pop out the primers. I usually leave them dirty as long as the primer pockets are dry. I can't stress that enough. So just like that. And then I'm going to fill this up, and I'm going to get you guys a little bit closer here so you guys can kind of see this. And I'm going to fill this all the way up to the top and leave it about 3 inches short, just so when I put that cap back on, the suds don't overflow. And I kind of spray this a little bit, get some suds going on in there. This is the hottest water. Trust me, you want to clean with hot. Hot water cleans quicker and better. So I'll stop it right about there so you can kind of see where I'm at. And then get this on here. Tighten this bad boy up. Get you guys back in the picture here. And if you guys got any questions or comments, better let them rip. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up. And I'm probably going to put this on for a solid hour and a half. So let me see who else is rolling in here. All right. And thank you once again, Armament and Axes, good friend. Definitely check out his channel. Run over there. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. Hit that notification all over at Armament and Axes. And once again, I really appreciate becoming an admin for Elfster's Rifles and Reloading. Awesome, awesome guy. I think you're an admin for pretty much every gun tuber out there, I think. So let's see here. 1911 Smoking Guns say, did you say price gouge? Cheaper than dirt? Yeah, no kidding. That's why I don't shop there. What else we got here? So Hemi Fun is saying, let me shine, it's just a citric acid, and that's exactly right. Armin X is saying, I still dry tumble, and that is definitely a way to go. And a lot of guys I know still use it, especially for pistol, because they don't have to worry about the primer pockets getting wet. It's just one thing you don't have to worry about. Matter of fact, I know a lot of guys, in the precision world that use walnut media. They leave a little bit of carbon in those case mouth openings. They like a little bit of carbon left in there. It's kind of a natural bullet lubricant for the case necks, and they feel like they get lower SDs out of more precision. So, like I said, everyone's got a method to their madness, and it's just about finding your own adventure. Man, we got 90 people watching right now, so make sure you smash that thumbs up. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that notification all, so you definitely get those notifications. Just not notification, but notification all. That way, when I go live, you get those notifications. So what else here? So Gates Jr. we're only saying, you're making me want to get away from my stainless steel pins now. I have the same process as you minus the pins, and there's definitely nothing wrong with using pins. You can 100% use pins. I'm just saying I don't usually use them, but it's just an extra step that you have to add into your equation in regards to separating them out. And it might be something you just might want to test. And it's that whole journey of finding your own reloading adventure and see if it works for you. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. If it does, it does. It definitely doesn't hurt to test it though and give it a try. So other than that, I think I'm going to wrap this up. I appreciate those super chats. Man, oh man, does it ever help. And looks like Vanessa Kitty is rolling in the house. He's saying, hello, everybody. And I got K24 rolling in. And if you got any questions, you better let them rip now. Otherwise, I'm going to shut this down. And stay tuned. I got that 45 ACP 4-die Lee set coming, just like the 9mm that we used in the previous series, but in 45 ACP with the separate cedar and taper crimp die. And I can't wait to get that. And it's probably going to come here in a few days. And the second that hits, I'll probably go live and knock this out live for you guys, reloading 45 ACP. And if you guys got those 1911s out there, this is going to be the live video series for you. Other than that, Otter is rolling in saying, thanks for the live feed. Keep up your great stuff. And Scott Hall saying, thanks for the help, man. Subscribe. Steven saying, pleasure to meet you all. Take care. And I am going to see you guys in the next video.